Our next storyteller is Mary Becquet. Mary is here to tell us her story about why she quit operating heavy machinery. Let's all welcome Mary Becquet.
This is a story about how I lost my finger. Now, I don't know if I can really say I lost it because I know where it is. I know where it isn't. It's not on my hand here. If you can't see really closely, instead of a left index finger, I just have a little nub, a little sleek little nub. But don't worry, this is a story with a silver lining. It turned out well. It's not going to just be about how, like, I can't handle the metric system. I like nines. If my story was titled in Latin, it would be called Nove Digites. Right? If it was in Spanish, it would be Nueve Digiteramus. Okay, I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. But my story starts in a small town in Texas where I grew up called Manor. When I was growing up in Manor, I still had all the fingers. But everybody in my town was poor. In fact, my family did not have an indoor bathroom in Manor when I was growing up. And this was in the 70s, you guys. So my mom pushed me really hard in school because she liked to have something to brag about. And I graduated high school a year early when I was 17 years old. And even though nobody in my family, not my parents, not my siblings, nobody had ever gone to college, I applied to a lot of colleges, faraway colleges, because I wanted to leave Manor. And I got accepted to a performing arts college in Utah. And the story of me missing my finger really starts when I go to Logan, Utah, which was a big city, to me. Compared to Manor, Logan had all kinds of buildings. It had the university campus. It had dorms. There was a bathroom inside. I loved that part of it, but I was also really lost. Even though when I got there, I still had all my 10 fingers, I also had all the insecurities that would come with someone from such a small town who didn't know what to expect in college. So the way that I coped was by overeating. Now, I was a theater major. I was too self-conscious about my body to even try acting. So I decided I would be a technical theater major. I would work building sets and designing, running cameras and stuff like that. The actresses in the theater department helped me out with my weight problem because they had all my same insecurities. They told me about a diet pill doctor. And so I went and I got diet pills. Look, I can't even do the finger. Anyway. Those diet pills, I'm 100% sure those were amphetamines. And so the doctor told you if you didn't continue to lose weight, then you couldn't get any more pills. So it was finals week, the end of my freshman year in college, and I stayed up all night studying with the help of my diet pills. I couldn't eat anything because I didn't want to gain weight. And then I went to my work-study job in the theater shop, where I was running the table saw that day. So don't worry, it sounds unsafe, but I was wearing my safety glasses. And my job that day was to rip lumber. I don't know if anyone's ever worked in carpentry, but when you rip lumber, you're sawing boards the long way. So I had a long 12-foot board. I'm going to resist the urge to say long story short. I was cutting it lengthwise, and what would happen would be the saw blade on such a long, skinny cut, it would bind. So it would just stop. And every time it did that, I would leave my hands in place to hold the board on the saw, and I would leave my fingers in place by the unmoving blade, and I would turn around and kick the plug to make it start up again. So inevitably, boom, it happened. And I remember after I cut my finger, I felt embarrassed that like I only had bandages around like one finger in the ambulance. This was in the 70s. It was a long time ago. If this happened today, I'm sure they would be able to save my finger. But I'm also sure they would give me a drug test. And I could be telling you this story from prison. So nobody ever knew, and nobody ever asked me if I was hopped up on amphetamine diet pills. So I'm lucky in that respect. When I called my parents to tell them about my accident, they said to me, "Hey, you're 18 now. You're an adult. So you're going to need to handle that." So imagine what it was like for me to be 18 years old, thousands of miles from home, no more amphetamines, maimed, and on my own. And all I could do at 18 was try to be an adult. So I dropped out of college. I worked a lot of menial jobs, just waitressing, cleaning. I worked in a canning factory. And I did that for about 5 years until I got really tired of that life. And you know what's funny is like all my insecurities about my weight and stuff, they really didn't matter to me anymore now that I had a real insecurity to worry about, like missing a digit. I never wore any jewelry for years. I never wore rings or bracelets. When I got tired of just drifting, I decided I was going to go back to college. And that's what I did. I went back to school. I didn't major in technical theater. I majored in Chinese. This is more practical, right? I really majored in Chinese because someone told me that they didn't think I was quite smart enough to learn Chinese. And so I spent quite a few years trying to prove to them that I was smart enough. And I ended up proving to myself that I was smart enough too. The way that this story concludes is I went to China after I graduated with my bachelor's degree, still the first person in my family, including my parents, to ever get a degree. I went and I taught English in China. And some girlfriends and I went to Hong Kong, and they made me get a manicure. I was 28 years old. It was 10 years since I had done anything to beautify my hands. They made me do it, and that manicure changed my life. It did, because I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. I can get a manicure. So when I was very young, I quit a lot of things. I quit amphetamines. I quit being taken care of by my parents, and I quit having all the fingers. But what I was able to learn is that even though I'm not whole on the outside, I'm whole on the inside. And all it cost me was one little finger. So thank you guys so much. I'm Mary Becquet.